Welcome back. As discussed in the previous session, that whenever we write a program, we may have a certain requirement in the form of data, right? This data is supplied through keyboard, standard input device. And after doing some manipulation on data, we may end up with results, and that result is produced on standard output device, that is your console. Means input is given to the program and we get the output. Now the question is, does your program has the capacity to read the content provided via keyboard? Does your program has the capacity to write the content on the console, that is output device? So here comes the answer: input output statement. Input output statements are those statements which provides the programmer a capacity to read the content supplied by the user via keyboard and to display the content on the screen. This is the role of input output statements. So let us get started with the input statement first. It is used to read the values supplied through keyboard and then return the same value to your program in string format. Means it does not matters that what type of value is being supplied by the user. It may be of integer type, it may be of float type, but it will only return string type of value to your program. We will be discussing more on this in some time, but let us first check the syntax and the way to use input function. Here, input function is used. It takes a string as an argument. It is simply a message that gets displayed and prompts the user to provide some input. Once the input is supplied, it reads the content and returns to your program in string format. Now this value, we accept it in the variable placed here on left hand side. Now this variable can be used in your program for further processing. Let us check this with one more example. Here the input function is used and a message is being displayed on the screen: enter first number, and this will prompt the user to provide some value. Once the value is being provided by the user supplied via keyboard, that value will be stored in this variable named val1, of course in string format. In the second state line, again a message is being displayed: enter second number. It will again prompt the user to supply some value, and this value will be again stored in the variable named val2. Means now after these two lines gets executed, we are having two values, one value in val1 and other value in val2, right? Now suppose the first value supplied by the user is 10. Means val1 will be pointing to a location in memory having the value 10, and val2, suppose the value supplied by the user is 20, then val2 will be pointing to a memory having a value 20, right? Now in the third line, simply I have done addition of these two values, val1 plus val2. Now can you guess what the result of the answer will be? You just check it out by yourself. But exactly what the answer you will get is not 30. The answer should be 30, but you will not get 30. You will get 1020 as a result. That is 1020. Now the question is why? It is because, as I told, the input function will return the value in string format. Means this 10 once supplied by the user is not stored in variable val1 in integer format. It is stored in string format. And similarly, 20 is also stored in string format. When two strings are added, of course here arithmetic operation won't work. This plus operator here works as concatenation operator. So 10 plus 20 being a string, it will concatenate and the result we get is 1020, that is 1020. So this will be the result. Now this wasn't expected. We were trying to add these two values, numeric values. Now what we will have to do is to actually add the values, means to say to perform arithmetic operation. What we will have to do is, once the value is supplied by the user, instead of immediately storing it in the variable, we need to change it into the required format. That is, we need to typecast it. Typecasting is simply a change of data type from one type to another. We have already discussed typecasting. So here what we will need to do is, we will have to convert the input given by the user into integer format, right? So we have made use of the function int, and the entire input statement is placed inside the brackets. Now what will happen? Whatever the value will be supplied by the user, that value will be returned via input statement in string format, and that string format value will be converted in integer, and then it will get stored in val1. Means now when the value will be supplied, that is 10, first it will be converted into integer format, and now the value will be stored in val1, and similarly in val2 20 will be stored, and at this time the 10 and 20 will be of numeric form, that is integer format. Now after this, when you will be applying addition operator, that is answer equals to val1 plus val2, and you will check the value of the answer, now you will get 30 as a result. Why? Because now the value is converted into integer type. This is how input function works. Now next comes is output statement, that is a print statement. The role of the print statement is to simply display the content on the screen. Whatever the message, whatever the content you want it to get displayed on the screen, you can make use of print function. It takes three arguments. The first argument is the message to be displayed on the screen. Simply whatever string literal you will be writing here enclosed within double quotes, those string will be displayed on the screen. The second argument is a separator. It is simply a string, normally a character, that gets inserted between two consecutive characters of the first argument. That is, it simply acts as a separator, and whatever the value you will be providing here, that character will be inserted after every character of the first argument string. And the third argument is end string. End string character simply gets inserted at the end of the first argument, right? So basically these two are the optional ones. We may use it or we may not use it as per our requirement. Let us understand this with an example. In this first case, simply a message is being displayed on the screen. See, here it is written, we are learning Python, enclosed within double quotes. When this statement will execute, it will simply print the string inside this double quote on the output screen. That is, we are learning Python. This will be displayed on the output screen. In the second statement, simply I have done is written the entire content separated by comma. That is, I have simply placed all the characters of Python separated by comma, and then made use of a separator and assigned the value @ as a separator. I have made use of the second option, that is end, and assigned the value hashtag character as a end character. Now what will happen? This separator will get inserted after every character, after every consecutive character, means after P and @ will be there, after Y @ will be there, after T @ will be there. And this hashtag sign will be inserted at the end of the string. So @ is inserted after every character, and at the end this hashtag sign will be inserted when this statement will execute. So this is how separator and end argument works. We can also make use of print function, making a combination of a message and the value of a variable to be displayed on the screen. See here, I have simply written value of x is comma and the name of a variable. What it will do is simply it will print the message and the value of x on screen. Suppose the value of x is 10. Now what will happen? Because the value of x is 10, we have assigned the value 10 to x. So after this, if a print statement is placed, it will simply print value of x is 10. So this is how we can combine a message and a variable to be displayed on the screen, right? So this was the end of this video. In the next video, we'll be learning about Python program structure. Till then, take care. Goodbye.